Good morning, my friends, and welcome to today's training. Today we're going to jump into a little more of the differentiation series, and that's all about discovering the real you. This is an advancement on our own healing and our own living and thriving beyond the codependent identity. So this gives us a chance to really self-attune to ourselves, to become what's called internally oriented or self-referenced, so we can identify and discover our feelings, our wants, our needs, our boundaries, our likes, our dislikes, who we are and who we want to be, our own power, our powerlessness, all that. This is about really maturing into who we are so that we can create a life of happiness and fulfillment, not just well-being alone. So I am going to get this shared out to the community real quick. So if you're new to me, I'm Marshall Burtcher, and I help codependents rediscover their well-being and happiness after codependency by helping them heal the trauma bond through restoring their sanity, safety, and self, helping them come to know, love, and live who they are and create happy, sustainable relationships. So let me get this shared out to the community real quick. The community is where you can find guidance, support, and shelter in your journey beyond codependency. So you can see that you're not alone in this experience of recovery from either narcissistic abuse or highly unemotionally available relationships. It's where you can find out that you're not crazy, you're actually sane. Make sure you're more normal than you realize. And then you can also get tools and guidance that assist you in healing and in discovering your happiness after codependency. So that link is above on Facebook, it's below on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys for doing that. You're making me a little popular, and it's kind of fun. All right. So discovering the real you, episode number 3. And this is all about differentiating your value from approval and rejection. So in codependency, we have a tendency to define our worth based on the approval or rejection of another person. That tends to control us. We tend to be hooked on their every word and their action and what it means. We're going to analyze and we're going to be hyper vigilant about their behaviors and what they mean and what's going on there. And this is very, very exhausting. It's actually quite dangerous to our own well-being because ultimately we're stuck with whatever they do. Our value is defined by their treatment of us. We have no autonomy, we have no freedom, we have no shelter or safety in our own value. It's always being pulled up or down by the other individual. Hi Lauren, hi Mary, nice to see you guys. And thank you for commenting. Let me know you're here because I really enjoy that. I like the interaction and stuff. So you have questions or comments, just feel free to post them and I'll read them and we'll run with it. So this enmeshment of our value with someone else's approval or rejection keeps us, one, oriented on them, disconnected from ourselves, and in a state of hypervigilance and fear, especially if we're in abusive relationships where they rely on this in order to manipulate and control us. It's one of the big things, especially narcissistic individuals want, is to keep you on the low, keep you low on your self-esteem, low on your confidence, so that you rely on them. It keeps them in control through a coercive force, and it allows them to manipulate and influence you in specific ways that benefit them only. It gives them what's called supply. Hey, Renee. Ooh, wow. Yeah, 2 a.m., Mary. Good morning. Really, really early morning there for you. So this is essential to our sanity, is to differentiate our value from approval and rejection. Because approval and rejection are the big trap. Because they're always conditional on what the other person feels or thinks in regards to us or what we do. So it's utterly utterly externally oriented value. Another word I use for this is called transactional value. It's the value, we earn our value by what we do. So we earn love, we earn worth, we earn the privilege of existing, that kind of thing. So it's always tied to some sort of productivity or performance we have to do in order to to demonstrate or prove our worth. Any of you relating to this? Let me know in the comments below, because it's something I grew up with. It's something that harmed me pretty deeply and pulled me into relationships and dynamics and social situations that really harmed and hurt me and hurt others. The solution to this is differentiation. See, so if our values enmeshed and entangled with someone else's approval or rejection, it's transactional, then we need to move towards something called innate value. Innate value is kind of a tricky concept because it really doesn't have it has a definition, but it's something that's more somatic. It's something that's more of an experience of a consistency or a constancy within our being. Okay, so innate value basically says, I have intrinsic or inherent worth and value, period. That's it. We don't go out and measure it. We don't go out and judge it. We don't go out and try to find it. We don't go out and try to prove it or demonstrate it. What we do is we attune to it. So attunement is a lot like a radio tuning into a frequency or a radio station. So within us, we have a radio that's transmitting innate value. When we attune to that, we discover typically a sense of joy, a sense of warmth, a sense of peace, a sense of strength and love for ourselves. But it's somatic, meaning it's nonverbal, it's felt, it's a physical experience. And a lot of times we try to do this analytically. Going to go out and find my innate value and tune to it. It's about resting and being within ourselves and cultivating a warm connection with our body and with our inner self by being present with ourselves. It's kind of a result, something that we tune into when we practice compassion, when we practice treating our emotions and our experience with value, with importance, and with priority. It's when we give to ourselves the love and empathy we would give to others too. And this tends to activate and bring into attunement or awareness this innate value. Another way of putting this is we're differentiating our value from our programming, from transactionalism, from other people's approval and rejection. When we attune to this value, and we actually start to feel this value, we discover that we are truly whole here already, and we do not need to rely on another individual in order to generate our sense of value, our sense of clarity about ourselves. It's already within us, and we can begin to lean into trusting it and following it and allowing it to guide and inspire us in our lives. Now, I work a lot on innate value in 2 specific courses. We start with it in the differentiation practices in the Heal Yourself strategy. That's Heal Yourself strategy is where I teach you how to restore your safety, sanity, and self. It is the foundation of true recovery from codependency. So I help you discover and acknowledge who you are, your feelings, bring those things into focus and into value, importance, and priority through a process called ALI. Teach you how to tap into reality and sober up so you pop your fantasies, and then how to regulate your attachment so that you can enter what's called sovereignty and begin to access and cultivate this innate value. And then the second step happens in the Know Yourself strategy, where we go deeper into that attunement so that we can live that value, so that we can know its voice and follow the vision in which it brings us. And that allows us to create lives that we enjoy living and that are truly aligned with ourself. So this is where we find purpose. It's where we find highly aligned and compatible relationships. It's where we find our true core values and innate boundaries that guide and structure our lives. It's where we start to find more and more of our happiness and our fulfillment in our world. But it all starts with differentiating your value from the trap of approval and rejection. Because approval and rejection have nothing to do with us intrinsically. They have everything to do with the point of view of the other person. And if we give that other person authority over ourselves, we make them the authority about our value, they have control and power over us that they do not deserve. No one deserves that power over us. We are intrinsically responsible to care for and to protect and nurture our connection to our innate value. We do not give it to someone else. In codependency, we are trained to seek that through other people because that's how they keep control of us, and that's how we felt a sense of love and bond with this other individual. This is why we chase after people. This is why we feel so devastated when those kinds of relationships end. It's because we haven't matured into occupying our own authority in our value, in our own sovereignty and wholeness as we are. So it's really the fulcrum of the whole thing. If you're going to break free of codependency, we have to differentiate your value from approval and rejection so that you can understand yourself in contrast to someone else. And that allows you to make better decisions for yourself. It allows you with your innate power, your personal power, which is choosing, your desires, managing your feelings, and taking choices and actions that align you with your well-being and your happiness. So differentiating your value from approval and rejection requires you to attune to what's called the innate value. Now, I've got a tool for you that you can try out right now. So if you, in the link above on Facebook and below on YouTube, there's a link called the Tools Library. Go to that link, click it, and you'll find this tool called the innate value retrieval tool. Try that out because it's one of the tools I teach in the Heal Yourself strategy and the Know Yourself strategy, and beginning to cultivate our connection to our innate value by retrieving it from outside of ourselves and bringing it back home. Now, if you're interested in joining those courses, the Heal Yourself strategy is open for enrollment. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube under the courses section. The Know Yourself strategy it'll open for live enrollment this coming August, so we have a little time there. So my friends, this is an essential step to breaking free and being truly whole and autonomous within inside yourself and in your value. So I want to see what the comments are saying, so I'm going to come check them out. So Mary says, can narcissistic people also be incredibly gentle and outward giving, passive aggressive, always possessive, holding on and not wanting to let go? Not really. Narcissistic people they lack empathy. They can feign empathy in order to draw you in, but they tend to be quite cold, emotionally unavailable, avoidant, and often quite deliberately cruel emotionally. So they can be outwardly giving in that they are demonstrating or creating a mask for themselves, but they're not truly warm or empathetic to your situation. A lot of times people who show up as passive aggressive or have that kind of tendency, they might be a covert narcissist, but they're likely more of a very unmatured or unhealthy codependent that's trying to manipulate their way into other people's worlds to get what they need. Sometimes borderline personality disordered people do that as well. So that's there. Laura says, true inner workings of self-empowerment. Thank you so much for bringing awareness to this. You're welcome, Laura. It's nice to see you. So yeah, you're welcome on that too, Mary. So it's really narcissistic people. They can publicly come across as a very caring person, but they're not caring about you. They're caring about other people, and they're performing a thing because that's how they maintain their image. Because the one thing a narcissist values most is how they're perceived publicly, not privately. So yeah. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. So our journey here is to reclaim ourselves from this trap of approval and rejection, to really become autonomized and differentiated from other people's approval and rejection, and to really come to building a loyalty to our own innate value, to knowing and living that innate value, and that will produce the happiness and fulfillment that we're often seeking and often not finding because we're not really aligned with ourselves. So if you want assistance in that, I invite you to join the Heal Yourself strategy. The link is above Facebook. Or you can join the Know Yourself strategy when we launch in April. The link is also above on Facebook and below on YouTube. And if you join that, you'll actually get access to what's called the Happiness strategy, and you'll be prepped and ready for the Know Yourself strategy this August. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. Go out there, have some adventure in discovering more of who you are beyond codependency, and I will see you guys in our next training.